What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have MLB players calling out the All-Star game. Some are saying that it's a joke, and others are saying that the All-Star game is turning into a Savannah Bananas game. The Yankees game was insane yesterday. We saw multiple home runs by superstars, and one of them actually robbed Cody Bellinger of a 4-home run game. How Raleigh did it again. Not just one, but two. He is closing in on the record set by Barry Bonds for the most home runs ever hit before the All-Star break. Paul Skeens was back on the bump and he struck out 6 without walking anyone. But was it enough to get his first win in 2 months? So we'll talk about all of that and more in today's MLB recap. We recap every baseball game almost every single day, so grow the game with me, leave a like, and hit that subscribe button. Also, do not forget to check out channel sponsor SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets, and if you like daily fantasy sports, you're going to really like Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do is download it to your phone with code Fuzzy, and you get a bunch of free picks, as well as up to $1,000 in bonus cash credit. You're welcome. Before we talk about all the games, I do want to get this All-Star Game madness out the way because Trea Turner and Nick Castellanos literally called out Major League Baseball. Trea said that the All-Star Game is becoming an effing joke, and Nick Castellanos straight up said that the All-Star Game is becoming a Savannah Bananas game. What in the world happened for them to get this angry and speak out like this? Essentially, it boils down to one player and actually one rule. We'll talk about that rule in a second. Jacob Misiorowski, the guy who has started 5 games in his career, he was just named an All-Star over Christopher Sánchez, who has almost 110 innings versus Jacob's 25 innings. By the way, the 5 games played is the lowest ever by an All-Star. I mean, yeah, Jacob Misiorowski is disgusting. He's a viral sensation, but he should not be an All-Star after 5 games. That is my humble little fuzzy opinion. I like Jacob. He got very emotional. I'm happy for the kid, and I'm excited to watch him pitch, so maybe it doesn't make sense that I'm not happy at the same time that he's in the All-Star game. Maybe I just come from a different generation where being an All-Star means more than just being a viral player. I know that kind of sounds disrespectful because Jacob has the skills to be one of the best pitchers in the game, so he deserves to be an All-Star eventually, but not after 5 games over a guy like Christopher Sánchez and a rule that held him out the game. Now, if you did not know, Ranger Suárez, he's not an All-Star, but that's because he rejected an invite, so MLB has to figure out a replacement. I would have gone with either a Kodai Senga or a Christopher Sánchez, just because Kodai, he's got a sub 1.4 ERA with 75 innings. Christopher Sánchez has a sub 2.6 ERA with almost 110 innings. So to me, both of those would have been better ideas over a Jacob Misiorowski, but a lot of Misiorowski fans are saying, you're just hating on a small market team. You had no problem with Paul Skeens. Well, Paul Skeens had a lot more innings and a lot more strikeouts. Let's just get that out the way. It's not comparable at all. But the fact that a Sánchez or a Kodai Senga wasn't chosen instead just kind of blows my mind, and it does kind of feel like a joke. But then again, this is not the same All-Star game that we grew up with. This is not best versus best because World Series home advantage is on the line. It's a makeup, meaningless game, and they're going to choose whoever they want as replacements, whoever they think is going to get the most eyeballs. Christopher Sánchez's agent actually came out with an update that him not making this All-Star team. So the rule is, I forgot to mention the rule. So because Christopher Sánchez starts tomorrow, which would be Sunday, apparently there's a rule in Major League Baseball that you cannot be named. You can't even be named an All-Star replacement if you start on Sunday. That's why Jacob Misiorowski is going and not Christopher Sánchez, despite the fact that he has 4 times more innings and a lower ERA. Like, even saying that out loud makes no sense. Sanchez's agent said that not making the All-Star team means that he's going to lose out on $200,000 because all of these contracts are littered with incentives. Most of them are winning MVPs and making All-Star teams. Now, thankfully, Christopher Sánchez had his arbitration years bought out by the Phillies, so he's not a free agent until 2030, I believe. But let's say that Christopher Sánchez was going into arbitration, they would use this against them. The fact that he's not an All-Star, you can't command All-Star dollars, even though he should have been an All-Star. And don't even get me started on how it could potentially affect Hall of Fame conversations like, oh, he didn't make one All-Star team. Well, he got robbed of making 3 or 4. Talking about a guy like Eric Chavez, not saying that Eric Chavez should have been a Hall of Famer, but him not making an All-Star team is still crazy to me. He was that good. The fact that he never made it, stupid. So I guess at this point, what's the fix? Again, I'm not blaming Jacob Misiorowski because he's a viral sensation and MLB wants to have that 97-mile-per-hour splitter in the game with the 103 fastball. I get why they want him there, but 5 games, I just don't. It's kind of making a mockery of what it means to be an All-Star. Again, he's got the talent to be a perennial All-Star, just not after 5 games. So I'm going to turn it back to you guys. It's kind of crazy we're talking about how do we fix the All-Star game because it hasn't really ever been an issue. We know that fan voting has been really annoying, but what else are they going to do? No one has a really better idea. To that I say, there are some better ideas. Maybe they just copy what the NBA is about to do or what the NHL, I believe what they've been doing lately, where they just go with like USA versus a foreign team or something like that. What if we just went with the mini WBC every July? Or we just keep everything the same when it comes to the All-Star game and we start a brand new category of like all pros that we have in the NFL. So let's say someone doesn't make an All-Star team like a Christopher Sanchez. If he keeps this up the rest of the season, he could be a first team All-Pro. I don't know what the label would be called in Major League Baseball, but that would kind of make it for it years down the line when it comes to Hall of Fame discussions. So in a nutshell, that's why Trea Turner and Nick Castellanos are upset. A dumb rule saying that because Christopher Sanchez just suffered from bad luck and is starting on Sunday, he's not even allowed to be named a replacement. I don't understand why that's so deep with MLB. Can't you just name him an All-Star replacement and then replace them with Jacob Mizorowski? I feel like everyone would be happy if Christopher Sanchez was just named an All-Star, got his $200,000, and left it at that. Now that we have the All-Star stuff out the way, let's talk about Cal Raleigh and his almost 40 home runs, and then we'll get into that Cody Bellinger revenge game. Hey now, the first home run of this game belonged to J-Rod, and it was off of Tarik Skubal of all people. Julio, he can smell the second half coming. We know that he's always been way better after July. And now Cal is up to 37 home runs. He went yard off the nasty Tyler Holton, and then he pummeled out a grand slam for his 38th home run. The record for the most home runs before the All-Star break is 39 by none other than Barry freaking Bonds. The Mariners, they dismantled the Tigers, and shout out to JP Crawford, he had 3 RBIs, but Cal, he's on pace for 66 home runs, 141 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. He's casually swiping bases as well. The Mariners are 49 and 45. I don't know what they would be without Cal. The Tigers, they were held off from 60 again. They're 59 and 36. Actually, one more game before we talk about Cody Bellinger's revenge game, because we know that Cal is the best catcher in baseball. Not too long ago, Shawn Murphy, he was in the conversation for best catcher in baseball. Now it's not even close, but Shawn has been raking. He went 437 feet after Austin Riley dunked in the first run, and then he went even further on his second of the game. Ronald and Drake Baldwin both had RBI singles. It's just that Shawn kind of stole the show with his 2 prodigious long balls. He has 6 home runs and 13 RBIs his last 10 games, and he's been a brick wall behind the dish all over again. He was the DH in this one. Rookie catcher Drake Baldwin, he upped his OPS plus to almost 135 after that RBI. He will not get another run scored on a stat line because Victor Scott fired a seed. He has a whopping 12 outs above average. He's going to be in platinum glove and stolen base crown conversations for at least the next decade, in my opinion. Now, that did flip the momentum. Pedro Pais, he had a 2-run knock. Victor made it 6-5. Unfortunately, this kind of felt like a Connor Wong in the playoffs moment. He got picked off talking about Victor Scott. The vibes were basically crushed. Raisel Iglesias, he finished it after it stayed 6-5 the rest of the game. He has 10 saves on the year. That Cody Poteet trade is going to go down in the history books as one of the worst trades the Cubs ever made, but at least they have Kyle Tucker for right now. By the way, Cody Poteet for Cody Bellinger stinks because Poteet isn't even a Cub anymore. I think he's on the Orioles. Bellinger, he secured a 16-game hit streak with his first of 3, which is crazy because it could have been a rare 4-home-run game. Just like Judge stole a home run from Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker stole one from Cody Bellinger. Judge, he had another web gem later in the game. He could win his very first Gold Glove if he keeps this up. I mean, he's going to have to work really hard. Bellinger, he lifted a 2-run lefty-lefty blast. He has 4 RBIs already. It could have been 5, but again, Tucker literally stole it. Bellinger and Judge, they were laughing in the dugout. Maybe Belly was like, that's your fault, okay? The payback, that's your fault, mister. The All-Star, Carlos Rodon, it's so cool to say that Carlos Rodon is an All-Star again. He went 8 scoreless thanks to Aaron Judge. He struck out 8, and it was really just a perfect game by the Yankees. Judge is robbing home runs and stealing base hits left and right. Bellinger is ripping 3 homers in 1 game. W fan, by the way, I think that PCA would have actually caught that. So W fan if you're a Yankees fan, L fan if you're a Cubs fan. Bellinger has gone bananas in the first half. 16 home runs, 54 RBIs, a 131 OPS plus, and 4 outs above average. It was a true 10 out of 10 trade because, again, Poteet, he's on the Orioles now. The Red Sox are trying for 8 wins in a row. There's literally only 3 clips I want to show from this game. First, here's the Ceddanne Rafaela opposite field knock, and then there's the insane web gem later in the 9th inning from Trevor Story, who's not only been raking in the box, but now he's pulling off Derek Jeter plays, the snag to his right, the jump throw that was on the money. The arm strength is still there, apparently. I thought that his arm was kind of cooked. What's the 3rd clip? Oh, just a walk-off home run from Ceddanne to win 8 in a row. The future Platinum Glove winner now has 7 home runs and a 1.036 OPS the last month. He's come a long way since he was a 4.9 infielder in the Little League World Series. It's always cool to see guys like him and Bellinger go from Little League World Series to the big leagues, and now they're shining. Maybe I shouldn't feel as bad about my Guardians recently losing 10 in a row because the Dodgers might have just lost their 7th in a row. Willie Adames has been flexing that insane strength for a middle infielder. He hit one over Triple's alley on a line. He's approaching a near 900 OPS since the end of May. Now, we did have a Shohei splash. The Unicorn lifted out a 2-run home run for his 32nd of the season, only to have Jung-Hoo Lee laser win to Triple's alley to steal both of those runs back. The grandson of the win, he's flying around the bases thanks to Teoscar not really taking a great route to that baseball. Dom Smith, he left the yard the other way, and Willie, he made a big 3 RBI night with a 2-run 3-bagger, just a casual 7 total base game. Jung-Hoo Lee drove in a big 8th run because after Teoscar got one to fall for a 2-run double, and it was in and out of Jung-Hoo Lee's glove, Michael Conforto ripped one to dead center. It's 8-6. Will Smith, he banged one up the gut. It's 8-7. We have a brand new ball game. Kind of, wait, not really. A double play in the 9th inning seals it for a W. Camilo Doval, it was a scary 9th inning, but he gets it done for his 15th save. The Dodgers do in fact lose their 7th in a row for the first time since 2017. Super quick before we show Paul Skeens' latest start, I have to show this Diamondbacks and Angels game because Zach Neto, he's not the biggest fella ever. Like, he's not small by any means, but he drops nukes. Like, he straight up swings a hammer 440 feet. He's missed about 20 games this year. He already has 15 home runs and 16 stolen bases. That was his 7th leadoff home run, which already ties an Angels record for the most in a season. We all know Agustin Ramirez has my favorite righty swing in baseball. Yoan Moncada is still my favorite lefty swing. My lord. He's tops in exit velocities and barrels. He could get traded. Randall, this one's a nuke as well. Randall Grichuk just went 430 feet. Tyler Anderson, he is folding. Alec Thomas and Jose Herrera, they reset the score, and we're back to being knotted up, and it's still knotted up later in the 9th inning. It's 5-5, though, because Rengifo drove an Ohapi, and Randall Grichuk ripped his 2nd of the game. Now, fast-forwarding to the bottom of the 9th, Rengifo, he torched another baseball after Ohapi got hit by a pitch. Travis d'Arnaud has been red hot, and he stayed red hot. Ball game. He's batting .333 with 9 RBIs his last 8 games. The Halos are 6-2 over those 8 games. At this point, I'm just getting sad for Paul Skeens. Like, the point of frustration has passed. It's now turning into full-blown depression, and like I'm watching Jessie get left behind by her owner in Toy Story 2. When somebody loves you. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? He just cannot afford to make mistake pitches, and he only threw one of them, but it just can't happen versus Joe Ryan when you're on the Pirates. He struck out multiple twins, as you just saw, all 3 of them, in fact, in the 1st inning. IKF even gave him a lead, but that was the only run that they can muster off of Joe Ryan and co. Cabrine couldn't make a play in the 4th, so this is now a 2-run go-ahead home run for Trevor Larnach, not a game-tying solo shot. So because Joe Ryan had 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run, and his outfield clutched up after he left the game, that was a seed from Deshaun Kersey out there to nab Tommy Pham of 2 bases. By the way, I hope that Carlos Correa is okay. He kind of limped out the game. A 100-mile-per-hour splitter ends it. Johan Duran has 15 saves. Paul Skeens hasn't won a baseball game since May 28th. He's 4-8 with a 2.01 ERA. If you're a regular viewer, you would know that yesterday I made a comment that I haven't heard the name Mark Vientos in what felt like ages, so naturally, he had a big game on the same day I said that. By the way, tip of the cap to Kodai Senga, who was in a big-time jam, but he struck out 3 in the 1st to escape it. He has a 1.39 ERA on the season. Now, the Mets actually lost their lead on a 2-run Bobby bomb. The home runs are coming in bunches for Bobby the last 2 weeks. He just needed the warmer weather. He's batting .319 with a .920 OPS his last 35 games. Carlos Estevez, I mean, might as well just call the Mets his boogeyman because we saw the Lindor Grand Slam last postseason. The bases are juiced again, and Mark Vientos cleared the bases versus Carlos Estevez. That was a rocket double to the gap to score all 3. It then got even worse for the Royals. Lindor, he barely, which this sentence does not make sense, he barely muscled out a 410-foot home run. That's how far you have to hit in Kansas City, which, again, barely leaves. It's 7-3 on Lindor's 3-run home run, and now it's 8-3 after Juan Soto went Juan Solo. His solo home run is his 22nd home run of the year. It still blows my mind that he's not an all-star. The Mets are 54-41. The Royals are 46-49. We just talked about Juan Soto being an all-star snub, and we've already talked about the Phillies voicing their frustrations at the league. So let's talk about their game. Costi, he made that banana comment, and now he's going 407 feet for his 12th home run. Ranger Suárez actually started this game, and he screwed himself big time with an error after a Xander single. So now this is an RBI single for Jose Iglesias, and this ground out, which should have been out 3, is an RBI ground out. Tatis, he's up with an extra out, and he flared one for another San Diego run. He stole his 20th bag right after, but we're going to skip to Schwarber's 30th home run. He just became the second Phillies player ever to have that many home runs before the All-Star break. Ryan Burgett of the Padres struck out 7 over 4 2/3. He was 1 out away from being labeled a winner, but you have to go 5 to be qualified for a W. Manny gave Robert Suárez an insurance run with his 17th home run, and Robert Suárez, he easily leads MLB in saves with 28 already. Forget the wild card. The Giants and the Padres are now just 4 and 4.5 games back of first place. The Orioles are 11.5 games back of first place, but they're also now just 6 games back of a wild card spot after going 6-1 their last 7. Orioles starter Dean Kremer was given an early lead versus the nasty Edward Cabrera as Jackson Holliday, he laced a double ahead of Jordan Westburg, who cashed him in 2 seconds later. All-Star starter Ryan O'Hearn, he torched a few baseballs as well. He doubled in Westburg and then singled in another RBI in the 3rd. He's up to a 140 OPS plus, which is actually just ahead of the 138 OPS plus by Ramon Laureano. He pulled an O'Hearn. He had an RBI double and an RBI single. Dean Kremer got the easy W thanks to his efforts as well. He went 7 scoreless. He has a 2.1 ERA his last 5, and that's including a 5-run implosion. He's allowed 1 earned run or fewer in 4 of his last 5 games. Otto Lopez of the Marlins, he ruined the Baltimore shutout. He has 10 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and he could very well go 10-10-10 here soon. He has 8 outs above average. The Orioles, they hang on 5-2. Again, they're just 6 games back of a wild card spot. Texas is flying up the wild card standings as well. Once Evan Carter got going, this team really turned a corner offensively. It's already 2-0 on Evans' 2-run knock. He has 6 RBIs his last 4 games. Adolis, he is blasting off more and more. He went 425 feet for his 12th home run. He's trying to get back to a 100 OPS. He's at a 93 right now. Jonah Heim, he laced the baseball down the right field line. I don't know if this has the juice. Cam Smith, he can fly. He just missed the grab. It is a 2-run double. Jonah, he was out trying to go for 3 bases. I'm going to tip my cap to Victor Caratini. He has 10 home runs. He tried to rally the troops, but Wyatt now has 15 home runs, just a monster fantasy day. He also stole a bag, so he had 4 base hits, a home run, and a stolen base. Don't forget about his 4 outs above average on defense. He's a batting average issue away from being a 5-tool megastar. The Astros have lost 4 games in a row. The Rangers are 1 game back from being 500. Rookie flamethrower Chase Burns is still looking for his first big league W, and man, did he flex his stuff versus the Rockies. He's up 1-0 on Noelvi Marte's 5th home run. Just like Paul Skeens, it was 1 mistake pitch that kind of ruined it, and a few of them, if you factor in the walk that happened right before Ryan McMahon mashed his 13th home run. Burns still had 10 punchies. He looks angry on every single pitch. It's just a blast to watch him throw baseballs. German Marquez, I don't know how much longer he's going to be a Rocky, but he struck out 8 over 6. He's a free agent after the season, so this was his best audition by far. Me personally, a lot of teams are probably going to be in on him now that he's throwing 96 plus, and that unlocked the rest of his pitch mix, and he's only 30 years old, which isn't young, but for a pitcher, it's still relatively... He's not a dinosaur. Of course, the Rockies bullpen ruined it for German. He was in line for a W. TJ Friedl had a game-tying groundout, which just extended what the baseball guys had scripted. They had a Rockies W in plan as Tony Santillan overthrew a slider, and Victor Vodnak, after walking Ellie De La Cruz, Ellie got walked intentionally 3 times. He had a nasty slide piece to end it. So I just want to hear from you guys. I know that the Rockies aren't in any contention, but the Reds are. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a threat are they in the National League? The Jays are easily going to win 90-plus games, but they better pick up some studs at the deadline for their bullpen because, don't get me wrong, the bullpen has been great for the Jays, but just like Cleveland last year, you do not want to tax your top guys in the regular season. Vladdy, this is a special base hit. He just became the youngest Blue Jay ever to get to 1,000 career base hits. He then stole second base, so the Jays are handed a free run. Springer, he steals home after it just kind of got missed by Shea Langoliers. Kirk, Straw, and Lucas all did more damage. It's 7-0 in the blink of an eye. Lucas's was a 2-run knock off of Kurtz. Scherzer had 8 strikeouts over 5 shutout. Will not be 6 shutout. Nick, he spoiled that shutout and grabbed those last 2 runs back. He went 433 feet. He has 15 home runs and 36 RBIs his last 33 games. Soderstrom and Muncy homered as well. Sodi has 17. And I tried to tell you guys, Max Muncy deletes him. That ball went 431 feet. Wait, what is going on? Hoffman, he just threw a wild pitch. It is 7-5. Brent Rooker, he played to the speedy Denzel Clark. It is 7-6 with the kid coming up. Okay, Jays fans, they can breathe a little bit. Nick, last name Kurtz, he chased it. The Jays are 55-40. The A's are 40-57. Go figure, the Guardians won a game where J-Ram did not homer and lost the game that he did homer in. I guess we have 2 games and 1 a little doubleheader coming up. Daniel Schneemann, just like Wyatt Langford, he crushed a home run and he stole a bag. Also, wait until you see him pulling an Andres Jimenez. Angel Martinez. He's turned into Victor Martinez the last week. That is 3 consecutive games with the home run. Here's Luis Robert Jr. Again, that is how you say his name. He said it on the White Sox pronunciation page. It is not Robert. He's not even American. What are we doing calling him Robert? His nickname is La Pantera. He punished an inside fastball to tie it. Sox fans, they're praying that he keeps it up because it'll really boost his trade value in the final few weeks before the deadline. The Guardians, they're hoping the same for Carlos Santana. He has 11 home runs and 7 outs above average. He's probably going to get shipped, so CJ Kayfus or Kyle Manzardo get full-time reps at first base. That Josh Naylor trade, all they were really hoping for is that they got some value for Josh, and then hopefully some more value for the guy that they replaced him with, aka Carlos Santana. His 11th home run won it for the Guard Dogs, as Clase now has 20 saves. The Guardians have won 4 in a row. Sorry, not sorry for the spoilers. It will not be 5 wins in a row. Lenyn Sosa went how far? 426 feet. He's the most confusing player in all of baseball to me, at least hitter-wise. He went yard again after J-Ram launched his 18th. He has a home run in 4 of the last 5. Miguel Vargas, he lifted a sac fly, so now this 5th inning home run is a go-ahead home run. Wait. Schneemann, he went airborne. This was the most Andres Gimenez play I've ever seen from someone not named Andres Gimenez. Daniel Schneemann has 5 outs above average, a 10% walk rate, and great barrels. He's sneaky good. Lenyn, he went 440 on his second. That's why he's so confusing. 440 feet after going 426. He's up to a 100 OPS, but he also never walks, and he chases a lot. Is he good or not? Did I bamboozle all of you? I said that the Guardians lost the game that J-Ram homered, and he homered in this game. Rocchio and Martinez, they stole the lead with doubles. It's 4-3, not 4-3 because Paul Sewald sucks. Josh Rojas lifted a sac fly, and a muffed scoop in the 11th inning walked it off. This final game is why we have to get Luis Robert off the White Sox, because Andrew Vaughn did it again. The Brewers, they won easy, but no way I'm not going to show the CJ Abrams. He's up to a 140 OPS plus after his 4th triple. Sal, he tied it because he has mastered singles the other way, and that started a full-blown RBI parade. William Contreras, he also went oppo for an RBI. Jackson Chourio then doubled the lead. He's still only 21 years old. He has 42 extra base hits, 58 RBI, 16 stolen bases, and 4 outs above average. This kid is insane. Yelich, oh my, off a lefty for his 19th home run. He has 65 RBIs. William Contreras secured another RBI on another double. This Milwaukee team looks terrifying. They are scary. Sorry, Washington fans, but I'm going to skip a few runs because now it's Andrew Vaughn time. 96 inside. He got his hands inside the baseball. He has an RBI in all of his first 4 Brewers games. Milwaukee has won 5 in a row. They're now just 1 game back of the Cubs in the Central. That was a long recap. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Enjoy the web gems.
He lays down a bunt. Garcia bare hands. Great play. Off the end of his bat, it's a pop-up shallow left center. A tough spot. Thomas coming in, so is Gurriel, who makes the catch.
Little dribble in front of the plate as Adam flips to the plate for the 4th shot. 3-2 is grounded to the right side. Diving stop by Xavier Edwards. Wow. Junior Caminero. Up the middle.